So now that we've covered Bastion Breakdown, Bastion Persona, even Bastion Control at that time, and PBD even, and regular Hexaorb, let's get to a special deck list which uses elements from all three and really showcases how far Overdress nation building system can really be pushed. So today I'll be presenting you Hexaorb Sorceress using format Old Chosen Knights, which is a Gate 3 order card which counts how many Gate 3s you have in the field, which is more in tune with Bastion playstyle, but this card's ability can be abused with Hexaorb. On top of that, we'll even be using the Blaster Rideline from 1 to 2 to get some early game pluses and just extra drive tracks. So without ado, let's begin. So before we get into the deck profile, let's talk about the rideline itself. So a normal Hexaorb rideline will of course be running the typical tail square into Pentaclane for the rear range into the Hexaorb. But because of the nature of this deck and how many Gate 3s we run, we really don't want to play too stable, as the main counterblast we want to be using is for this order card, and once in a while, Personal Rights and Diaglass. So to fit into that, we'll drop these two cards, and we'll put in Blaster Javelin and Blaster Dark. So when Javelin is written upon by Dark, you can call it the top of your deck with a unit card, so anything but this order basically, as rest. So it helps you to fill out the board, ideating a Gate 3 to meet the requirements of format Chosen Knights, or be fodder for Blaster Dark. So what does Blaster Dark do in this deck? So Blaster Dark is mainly played for its ability to get Drive Check on the Vanguard Circle for Combat 1 by retiring one of your regards to retire any of your opponent's regards. So that Twin Drive helps you push deeper into your deck and make pull a early crit or Persona Right or things might play in the long game. So I feel it's better for this build, as you really don't need the Twin Drive or rear range as much as the Triple Drive from this card. Then to run off, you see how to go back to Hexaorb of course. While we don't get the Pentaglim skill, we are playing a more Gate 3 focus engine, so we don't really need to over rely on the pluses from the rear range and all, because we do have enough ways to get our field and stacks. Now let's talk about the Gate 3 package you're playing. So for Sado is pretty self-explanatory. On hit, full charge 1, counter charge 1, then it's resist, so you can chosen by point card effect. So generally very good for maintaining resources. A card you can be calling any time of time to just annoy your opponent or against decks with removal. Then the order card, of course. So after the skill here once again, because it's pretty long, but generally you won't be hitting the 4 Gate 3 or more to get the Vanguard Drive Track +1. Otherwise, 3 or more C throws your card, and 2 more gives you 1 unit 5k. So it's really strong for pushing turns. And more importantly, as you get extra drive tracks, you can actually have a high chance of triggering Hexaorb skill or triggering triggers for cards like Lepisto and Owen. Then for the Gate 2 which might not be as common is the 2 cards here is a rough look. So you can put him to Soul to give any Gate 3 rearguard 10,000 power. So you can play it during your Hexaorb turns, or just play it for your 4th Gate 3 on the red circle to activate line up to the Knights. Other than that, generally it's just a card you play to put in Lepisto, or just save for pushing turns later in the game. Then this card is pretty new. This card is another Sorceress. So this card's basically effect is when you check a trigger during your drive check, you can retire itself to counter charge 1 or full charge 1. So why do we play this over let's say Elden, right, which is our very good draw engine? So personally I don't feel this deck needs draw engine anymore, because we really need to draw this and be similar advantage. Elden's pretty compulsive, but this card actually helps you get back resources. So some place you will come to know is when you're running out of soul sometimes, which can be a deal if you don't draw full Sado, is you really need the Soul Touch on demand to activate Owen next turn. Or maybe the other counterblast to trigger a Diaglass, or in particular Lepisto, as when you do check a trigger, both these cards will go on standby. So you can actually trigger Octolave Sorceress, I think, to counter charge first, then you can counterblast 2 to resend her. So a lot of nice plays, and generally, just like Rough Look for you, they are Gate 3s you don't mind having on the board at most of the time. Then Persona Rights, of course, for those who don't really know about Hexaorb, it basically gives you guaranteed a crit or front to the top of your deck, which is explained the trigger up here. And against extra drive track. So during a Persona Right turn, you can get up to 4 drive tracks if you play with the order card. Then the Hexaorb engine is Diaglass and Owen. So Diaglass is our main way to get fill, and Owen is our main way to scry deck. So generally, we'll be playing this this card again to get our forgery requirements, and even to rearrange our cards to see what we want to get. Yeah. And don't forget, the one draw from this can be used to draw cards you leave on top of your deck too. And that's before your triple drive, yeah. Then, the pistol, self-explanatory, very staple card, Combat 2. When you check a trigger, it restands, it gets 5k power at the end of turn. So it's our way to get more than 3 attacks per turn, to keep it up to the likes of Bastion and all this. Now with that, let's get into a demo of the deck. In this deck, we will be keeping Grade 3 in hand, ideally 3 Grade 3 regards to maintain for the order card when we do hit, and cards like Die Glass to fill our field. So let's do some quick games, test fields I guess. So let's do it going second. Now set draw. Let's draw the pistol first. Draw 1. Attack. Damage check. Stand and draw. Okay, so we got one of them. So let's throw one Die Glass out actually. Going to Blaster Drop. Devil Skill for its rest. So we can actually keep this on the board if you want to. Or we can go deeper with the deck within drive. So let's do our hand. We actually have the requirements already, so we can just leave it on board. It's fine. We save a Combat 2. Berserk Swings. Crit, okay. Then damage check. Stand. Front of it. Then stand draw. Okay, we have 2 combats. We can do play like this. Hexaorb enters the Vanguard circle. No skill from Pentaglim because this is busted up. yeah, we can call Die Glass out. Combat summon. Drop off first start. There's 1 there. Top 2 cards of the deck. Nice, great trees. You can call both of them out actually. It's very ideal, but it won't happen all the time. Actually, yeah, this way is good, yeah. And up here, we can play the order card right now. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4. So we can make the full requirement to the card. I can be getting 5k to the full start, I guess. 5k because it's on hit skill. 5k draw 1 card, then I'll get extra drive check. So here we can actually place Rough Looking Soul to power it up. We can leave it the board for safety. So I'm gonna just leave it here for this turn, in case next turn it gets a bit tougher. So let's swing with Hexaorb, triple drive, 1 heal trigger. So Hexaorb skill gives 10 something, so let's give both to what's up. 10, 10. Here we heal. Second check, third check. Over trigger, okay. Okay, over trigger 100 million. Draw 1, then yeah, I think you get a point. But basically this deck can play it like this, and generally if you pull off the order card every turn, all person right, you should be have a very healthy game. And this deck have 2 cards you can draw. You can either draw your Grade 3 package and or like Form of the Knights for your turns, or you can draw into your order cards to really push. So either way, you really should have a game plan for either turn. Something to note with this deck is how to use Pistol. Pistol usually serve for person right turns in general, as Hexaorb by its own can generate enough powers. As for other deck building options I want to highlight is Win. So Win's not a Grade 3 or Grade 1, which is why I'm still on the fence about it. But for the moment, in the event which you need to play more defensively, this card still doesn't hurt. Also, for March of the Knights, even if you can't reach a triple drive, sometimes if you're really desperate and want to do the deck, just use it at least to draw 1 card when you reach the 3 Grade 3 requirements, which basically requires you to have 2 Grade 3 regards. So with that, I hope you enjoyed this very creative deck profile, which I've seen the start of it when it was first coming out in Japan. But yeah, I've played it a bunch, and yeah, have fun with Hexaorb, Blaster, and Form of the Knights. With that, I'll see you next time. Goodbye.